Evening YouTube. So I've just got home from work and this box has turned up today. Now this box is proper battered, it really is, and it's been missing for 2 days because it said on my tracking it was due about, no, 3 days. It was due 3 days ago, then it got cancelled, then it had nothing on the tracking, and then it said out for delivery today, and here it is. And the box looks proper battered, so I do hope the amplifier inside it has not got battered, because it is a really nice old vintage Technics. Now luckily this one is an amplifier and not a receiver, so I haven't got to worry about the glass being smashed with this one. But apart from a little tiny dent at the bottom of the faceplate, this one looked really nice condition. And it is a Technics SU-7100. So you can see there, look, this box looks like it's been kicked down the stairs. It does look like there's a load of bubble wrap in there though. I just saw through that hole then, it looks all bubble wrapped inside. Same there, look, split right open. And this side is proper split open, look, wide open. But look there, oh, it looks like it's got a bit of sponge along protecting the front or the back. Yeah, so it's been through the wars to get here, this box. It has definitely had to battle its way to my house. So inside this battered old box is a Technics SU-7100. It's 35 watts per channel into 8 ohms. It is from 1978 and it is made in Japan. And I've had this model of Technics before. It is a really decent sounding amplifier. So this one, if I can get it working, it should be a nice amplifier, as long as it hasn't been smashed to pieces in this box. And I hope it hasn't, because like I said, in the pictures on the listing, it really did look in good condition. That's why I went after it. The only thing's wrong with it, there is a little tiny dent at the very bottom of the faceplate, and the power cord has been damaged on it as well. So apart from that, it looked really good. And it's got all its knobs and all its switches on it and that. There is nothing missing off of it. And I'm feeling that box there, yeah, it felt like it had sponge on the top, and it has, look at that, that's been proper wrapped up good, this old Technics. It's had like sponge put in there. Let me get the camera and I'll get you in there and show you. Look, the seller's wrapped the amplifier up in a bit of sponge, put a load of bubble wrap along the front there, and then put a big bit of sponge along the back lining the box. Oh no, that's the front actually. So it's the front that's got the sponge on it. So the back is protected with all that bubble wrap. And look, that's like a really thick bit of foam, that is. That might even be acoustic foam. Oh, I hope it is. That'll be lining out my Sony speakers. I'll have good use for that foam. So actually looking at it, these corners, it looks alright actually. It does look like it's survived the old Technics. Let's take that bubble wrap out of the back there. Yeah, it does actually. I think the seller's done such a good job wrapping this one up. He's actually protected it. Look, no damage on them corners. No dings on this nice wooden cabinet. And it looks really nice actually, this cabinet. Look at it, all them corners are good. Look at that cabinet, cabinet's lovely. Big vent there. So let's just hope that the front of it or the back, nothing's got damaged at the front or the back. But it doesn't look like it has. It looks like it survived this one. And if it has survived, it is only because the seller went the extra mile with the wrapping this one up. that is the only reason this has not taken damage, because just look at the state of that box. So I chuck the box out of the way. Let's get the old Technics down on the table. And it's got a nice little bit of weight to it, that Technics. It is not light. So it has got a plug on it, this one. I weren't sure if the lead had been cut on this or not, but it hasn't. But I'm feeling that bit there that's just taped up. That lead is split there. You're going to have to just chop that bit off. Which ain't the end of the world. Yeah, you can feel that. That's cut right through that lead and someone's taped it back together. See what I mean? The world is just full of bodgers. Because you just cut that lead there, wouldn't you, and put the plug back on. You only need to cut about a foot off. And I'm feeling that. That is really damaged, that lead under there. So let's get this bubble wrap off and see what my nice new Technics looks like. Oh, and it looks good actually. Yeah, look at that. Oh, look at the front of this one. Let's get the last bit of that bubble wrap and have a proper look at it. She looks good though, my new Technics. Look at that. Apart from that little dent there, can you see it right at the bottom? Little tiny dent in that faceplate. But apart from that, this Technics is looking really good. And that dent is a bit sort of the reason I went after it. Because I see how good condition the rest of it was. I thought, right, I'm going after that one. Because that little dent will mean that you get it really cheap. And I did get this one really cheap. Because that little tiny dent would have put a lot of people off. But I can live with that. It doesn't affect the sound of the amplifier whatsoever. And if it didn't have that little dent there, it would have made a lot more money and I probably wouldn't have got it. So I can live with that dent. So let's dive into the front and have a feel of all the switches and that. And them buttons felt good. That balance feels nice and smooth. Yeah, tape monitor, tape record, yeah, they all feel really nice, them. Volume, oh, and it's one of them nice clicky volumes. Nice. So the treble pot, yeah, that feels good, nice and smooth. Lovely, that treble pot feels. Bass pot. Yeah, that feels nice and smooth. On-off switch feels like it's working. Speakers A and B, that is working. These buttons are a little bit bent. I noticed that in the pictures, but they're working alright. They will straighten up, no problem. So happy days, look. Much to my surprise, it looks like the old Technics has survived the post. Because it does, and it looks good. And just look at that cabinet. That cabinet's lovely. And that vent there, look. That vent, that has not got a dent in it or anything. Nice big vent as well. You can't really see much through it. It does look like everything's in there though. It feels heavy enough to have everything in it, this one. So I've just put the camera down for a second and you can look at the old Pioneer SX750 and my little Sansui 310. Because I'm just going to turn this Technics round and then we'll have a look at the back. I'll get the camera again. And it looks good actually, the back of this Technics. Look, no speaker terminals broken off or anything like that. So it will take 2 sets of speakers, this one. And you can see there it's got a DIN input for your tape recorder. It's got a phono, tuner and 2 tape decks on it. And there you can see, look, model SU-7100 integrated amplifier. So yeah, the back of this one looks good. And I am really surprised that all them speaker terminals are still on it, because they are really easy to break off that type. And you saw the state of that box it came in, so that is quite amazing that none of them have been snapped off. So you just have to look at my Sansui again for a few seconds while I turn it back round. And I've got my tape measure with me, so we do the measurements, see how big it is. Oh, and I feel much better now, 'cause I was worried about this amplifier. 'Cause when I got home and saw it sitting in my porch with the box in that state, I thought, oh no, that's going to be smashed to pieces, that Technics. So I was having a bit of delivery anxiety. But it is over now, because somehow this Technics seems to have survived. And it does look really good, this Technics. Now it is here, it looks better than it did in the photos on the listing, because it does look really good. Just look at that. Apart from that dent, this thing looks lovely. So you can see there, this is about 16 inches wide or 41 centimetres. So let's see how deep it is. So that is about 11.5 inches or just over 29 centimetres deep. And let's do the height of it. It's quite tall, this one. So that is about 5.5 inches or about 14 centimetres. So it's got a bit of size to it, this Technics. It's not a little amplifier. That is quite a big amplifier. So let's do what I always do, and I'll put the camera down again. You'll have to look at my Sansui again, and then I shall get another amplifier to put on top of it, do a bit of a size comparison. And just sitting beside me, I've got the Pioneer SX434. So we shall use that because that's quite big, the old Pioneer. And it's only a tiny bit bigger than his Technics. It's a tiny little bit deeper, this Pioneer. It's probably overhanging the Technics by about 10 mil at the back when I line the fronts up. So it's a little tiny bit deeper, and look, it really is a little tiny bit wider. And that's quite big, that Pioneer. So that's how big this Technics is. It is a bit of a beast, this Technics. For an old vintage amplifier, it is pretty large, because normally the amplifiers are a lot smaller than the old receivers. But look, that Technics is as big as that Pioneer. It's a nice size, that Technics. That's a good looking amplifier, that is. And this is one of the ones that I've been after from them wanted list videos that I did. I think this is number 5 now I've bought off them lists. So I've been after one of these for a little while. I've been bidding on quite a few of them over the last few months. I've been bidding on this one and the 7200. But I kept getting outbid. But then when I saw this one with that little dent, I just thought that's the one for me, because that little dent there will put a load of people off and no one will bid on it. And I was right, because no one did bid on this, and I got this one really cheap. And I do understand why people didn't go after this one, because of that dent. Because it's like, if you're just having one amplifier and it is your pride and joy sitting on your shelf, you don't want one with a dent in the front of it, do ya? And a lot of people who are buying them to repair them and then sell on, they don't want ones with a dent on the front, because they're never going to get as much money for it when they try and sell it. They want one that looks good from the front. But with the likes of me, I'm not too worried about that little dent in the front. It would be nice if it wasn't there. And if this Technics didn't have that dent, I would have bid more money on it. So even I was thinking, I'm not bidding a lot on that, because it's got a dent right on the front. So I really did put a low bid on this. And then when I won it, I just thought, right, doesn't matter about that dent. I have just got an absolute bargain. And it's not like I'm going to sell this one on. I'm going to keep this forever. I bought this to use on the channel. So the dent makes no odds to the sound. And really, because I'm planning to buy loads for the channel, the cheaper I can get my hands on them, the better. And it fits in well with that lot, don't it, the old Technics? It doesn't look out of place sitting on the table with them old vintage receivers. It just fits in like it has been part of my collection for ages. And they are all from the 1970s, that lot, so you've got the whole decade sitting there really, because the oldest one now is that black-faced one, the Sansui 310. That is from 1972. And then the next oldest is that Pioneer there, the SX434, because that is from 1974. And then it will be the Pioneer SX750, because that is from 1976. And then that Technics that I've just bought is 1978. So you've got a full 70s collection there. Hang on, is that right? Or am I talking a load of tinkering fairies? Right, Sansui 310, 1972, Pioneer 434, 1974, yeah, the 750, 76, and that Technics 1978. Yeah, so I was right. So that is the whole 1970s decade represented in 4 amplifiers there on my table. And they're all decent sounding amplifiers as well. Now I know I haven't heard that Technics yet, but I do know that the other 3 sound really good. But I've had one of these Technics before, so I do think if I can get it working, it will hold its own against them others, because these Technics will be a really good sounding amplifier. So thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and I shall see you next time.